Hello and welcome to the Art of Presentation. I really want to thank everyone for pressing the link, for joining. It means that you want to know more. It means that you're interested in this new world that we're in, where everyone is on Zoom, everyone is needing to put their business online. Even just in just a normal work environment, you're now being asked to communicate on Zoom. So to have presentation skills is a really important skill to develop. So I'm excited that you've joined us. I plan to give you as much value as possible and plan to serve you with some information that's going to bring you from where you are to another level. So wherever your goals are, I hope that we're able to achieve them on this presentation, talking about the art of presentation. Okay, so the first thing I want to say, in terms of, take some notes. I'm going to be very strategic and basic in terms of step one, step two, etc. So step one is to make the decision of whether you want to have a face-to-face presentation like we're doing now, or whether you want to use PowerPoint. Now, there's pluses, pros and cons of each different style. So when you do directly to camera like I'm doing now, the audience can engage with you more. They can look into your eyes, they can see you more, they can connect with you at a higher level. When you're using a presentation, there's only a small square picture of you at the top, and their focus is the actual presentation. So the text that you have, the video that you have, the images that you have take the focus. Now that can be good for certain learners that like that are, visual learners. They want to see the text, they want to see the video. So that will suit that type of learner. For those that are more interpersonal and want to engage and connect with individuals, it might suit them better to just speak as we're speaking now. You can also mix the two. So what I'm going to do a post edit of this video, and I'm going to throw up slides and throw up images to help. So you can do a mixture of both. But the first thing is to decide, do I want to have all the information in my head and just speak it and deliver it? Or do I want to put the information in slides and videos and present it? When you're starting out, it's probably easier to do a presentation because you can kind of hide behind it. You don't have to think on the spot. You press the button, it moves to the next slide, it gives you the prompt. The focus isn't so much on you. So that's the first thing. Do I want to do a presentation slide, or do I want to just speak directly to camera? So that's the first decision that you have to make, and I hope you get a sense of the pros and cons that I've delivered. Number two is about your state. So anytime I deliver a presentation, I make sure that I'm amped up. I'll make sure that I'm ready. So I've been doing this for 11 years now, and I started working with the most hard to reach. I started going into schools. I started going into prisons. I started going into, audiences, some of which didn't want to be there. So we would go into a prison and work with those that are the most violent, and we'll be doing a violence reduction and personal development program. And they would walk in and they wouldn't necessarily want to be there. It might be part of their offender program, so they feel like they're forced to be there. They want to be at the gym, they want to be playing pool, they want to just be chilling in their cell. They don't want to be there. And my job is to engage them with excitement, to engage them in positivity, to make a good first impression. And that's what's important when you're doing your presentation. You've only got 2 or 3 seconds to make a first impression. So make sure that you're energized, make sure that you're amped up, make sure that you're in your zone. Now, there's several ways in which you can do this. You can listen to music, you can do some exercise, you can do some movement, you can listen to some motivational, audio, whatever it takes to make sure that you're ready, because it starts internally and then pushes outward. It starts internally and then pushes outward. So you've got to be at what we call peak state. So we know that Tony Robbins, before he goes on stage, bounces on a trampoline. He's got a trampoline backstage and he bounces on it and he gets himself ready. And when he comes out, you can feel the energy. So when you can't fake this. You can't fake your state because it's in your eyes, it's in the energy, it's in your aura. So you have to get yourself in that peak state. The other thing, which is an add-on to that, is to help your audience to get into peak state. So how do you help your audience to get into peak state? So you're amped up, you're ready. How do you then transfer that to your audience? Well, you do that by, firstly, when they enter the room, there might be music that they're listening to. So you've got, the slide will start in 3 minutes, presentation will start in 2, 3 minutes, and there's music that they're listening to. And then when you start to engage them, you know, use your tone, use your voice, ask them questions, ask them to put ones in the chat, get them to do an affirmation, repeat after you, get them to quickly say one thing they're grateful for. Get them speaking, get them engaged, keep them on their toes. Don't let them feel like they can just sit, be bored and sleep in the background while you're delivering your presentation. Let them know that you might be asking questions. Let them know you want them to be pressing ones and sending stuff into the chat box. Again, this is easier when you're not doing a presentation, because when you're doing a presentation, it's hard to see the chat box and those types of things. When you're doing a straight face to face, you're able to engage with the chat box more and ask them to do things a little bit more. So that's something to think about. But you want their energy up. Yeah, you want their energy up throughout the presentation. And I'll go through some real tools at the end. The last point, I'll go through some real tools that can really help to gather the state. So number one is about deciding whether you want a PowerPoint or straight presentation. Number two is looking at your state and making sure that you're in a peak state, but also making sure your audience is in a peak state. So number three is about qualifying yourself. So very early on, I explained to you that I've been doing this for 11 years. I also explained to you that I've worked with the most hard to reach. So when I'm presenting to individuals that don't want to be there. So we're talking about lifers, those that are maybe have drug issues, those that are away from their friends and family, those that just may not be in the mood, and I've got to engage them. So that me telling you that qualifies me, lets you know that I've been doing this a long while, lets you know that I've done this in, worse circumstances than just talking to your boss or talking to your team or talking to an audience. People that generally don't want to be there. When you do a Zoom or webinar, most of the people that have signed up actually want to be there. So I've qualified myself in terms of my length of experience and the types of arenas in which I've delivered this in. So how do you qualify yourself? It's really important when you're delivering a presentation, particularly to strangers, that you let them know who you are, that you let them know what your passion is, and you let them know what your experience is. They may have clicked on the button, but you've got to let them know, why should they be listening to you? What is it about what is it about you? What is it about the things that you're about to say that they need to stay to the end? So qualify yourself, whether it's the awards that you've won, whether it's the places that you've been, whether it's how long you've been doing it. Find ways to qualify yourself. The add on to that, if you're doing a cold presentation, and even when you're talking to members of the public, it's learning how to edify others. So if I'm doing a cold presentation with someone else, I want to be able to say that this person is an expert in this field. This person is really exciting. I've really enjoyed working with this person. This person is a powerful individual. I want to speak and edify them so that when they come on to speak, people are ready to listen. Sometimes it may be a presentation that you're actually doing, you've invited your people onto it, but it's someone else delivering that presentation. So it's important for you to make sure your audience knows that you value and respect this individual. You vouch for this person and give some facts about them that can help qualify them. So it's about being able to qualify yourself, and it's also about being able to edify other individuals. So that's number three. We're moving on to number four, which is an extension of this, which is your testimony. Now, this is a really key tool, and it depends on how much time you have. But a testimony can really help if you've got customers on a call, to help your customers buy into you. What we know is that customers do not buy products and services, customers buy people. I'll repeat it. Customers do not buy products and services, customers buy people. So what you're going to be buying is, you're going to be buying me. What audience is going to be buying, they're going to be buying you. So as much as you've got a great service and got a great product, they want to know who you are. They want to know what your purpose is. They want to know what your why is, because then they more happily support you and your business, because they like you, because they engage in you, because they believe in you, because they see your passion. Yeah, if you're delivering a coaching service, they want to know why. If you're selling a workshop, they want to know why. They want to know, what qualifies you, but also what is your motivation. And if your motivation is big enough, if you can show that you genuinely care, that you're genuinely passionate about the thing that you're offering, they'll be like, yep, I'll take one. So you've got to know how to deliver a testimony. I'll give you the steps for testimony. The first step for testimony is your baseline. So where you are, and it can be past or present. And it's just talking about your baseline. So, for example, it might be I'm an 11-year-old schoolboy with high self-esteem, but a fixed mindset. That's where my story starts. Or it might be I'm an overweight, spotty teenager. Or it might be I'm an overworked mother, an overworked father. It might be that I'm in a corporate job, working too many hours of the day. What is the baseline? Where do you start the story? So the first step in your testimony is the baseline. Think about where you want to start the story and paint that picture. What's great about the baseline is that you want people to identify with you from early, because there's going to be some people that are you. They are that corporate worker. They are that spotty teenager. They are that person in a long-term relationship. They are you. So give them the baseline of where you want to start. The second thing you want to do is you want to introduce the incident. So when you're telling a testimony, it's a story that has a beginning, middle, and end. So the baseline is the beginning, and then the incident is the exciting part. Is you watch a movie, you want to know, where does the action start? So the incident, and this incident could be a breakthrough moment. Like I suddenly realized I wasn't spending no time with my family, or I had a newborn baby and I realized I had a change, or I got dumped, or I suddenly got ill, or I lost my job, or I got bullied. Like, what is the incident? And again, individuals can connect with it, but what is the incident? And how did the incident affect you? So that's part two. You've got your baseline, you've got your incident. Now, step three is the really important part. Step three is your Phoenix moment, is your Phoenix moment where you soared. And hopefully, the tools that you're teaching, that the product that you're giving, the service that you're giving is linked into this Phoenix moment. How did you get over that scenario? Because you was dumped, for example, you had to do all these things to build yourself up to have a better relationship, and now you're a relationship coach. Perfect. I want to work with you. You've got the experience. Yeah. So what is a Phoenix moment, and what are some of the things that you've done to get over that scenario? And just given the tidbits of what you've done. So maybe if I was to say, you know what, I was terrified of speaking, and then I realized that I needed to do it to grow my business. And these are some of the steps that I done. Give tidbits of the steps, because the individuals are going to want to know more. And these steps are the blueprint. Because if you done it to get from where you was to where you are, then they can do it from where they are to where they want to be. If you done it from where you were to where you are now, then they can do it from where they are to where they want to be. So what you're offering is a solution to the problem. What you're offering is for them to be able to achieve a future vision that they have. And for them to understand that you can deliver that future vision, it's to say that I'm here now, but I was where you are, and this is what I done to get over it. So for me, it was personal development. I'm a personal development coach. So what happened to me is I failed my GCSE exams. I took a wrong path. I got into trouble, and personal development put me on the right path. And now I'm an award winner, a peace award winner. I'm an advocate for mothers. What is it called? Ambassador for Mothers Against Guns. I've won the British Empire Medal, Queen's Award for the work that I do with young people. So I was where I was, and the personal development and all these tools got me all these awards, got me my own business. So now if I teach you these tools, you can break through. If I teach you the tools that I used to get from where I was, a young person in trouble, wrong side of the law, to an entrepreneur, award-winning entrepreneur, you want to know what those steps are. You want to know what those I want to teach you purpose. I want to teach you goal setting. I want to teach you visualization. I want to teach you getting out your comfort zones. That's the course. So now you want to know the detail of those, because you know that those tools help me to get where I am today. So that's your Phoenix moment. After you finish your Phoenix moment, it's your call to action. So you've said how you got over the hurdle. You've explained some of the steps that you've done, and now you've got a call to action. Your call to action might be join me on this program, buy this product, follow me on Instagram, whatever your objectives are, your call to action. Now, if you're doing a presentation and your testimony is at the beginning, then you leave your call to action at the end and continue with the presentation. Yeah. So your testimony is step number 4. Step number 5 is just being aware, very much like your testimony, that your presentation has to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. The end is generally your call to action. The beginning is generally letting people get to know you. And the middle is the juice, is the knowledge that you're sharing, is the facts that you're giving. All right, so that's that. The last thing I want to do now is just share the tools. And there's some great tools that you need to be able to deliver a great presentation. The first thing is to think about how you're presenting yourself. So I could have come on with a shirt and a blazer. I could have come on with a V-neck t-shirt. I'm wearing a top, white top at the moment. How do you want to be perceived? Do you want to be perceived casual, professional? How do you want to present yourself to the audience? It's really important that you think about the image. Your image is part of your brand. So when I go into the prison and they've been forced, the ex-offenders, or sorry, the offenders are coming into the room, they don't know who they're going to meet. So they've got a preconceived perception of, I don't want to be here. And then they see a young black guy dressed, a little bit trendy. He's got Nike trainers on. It's like, oh, hold on a minute. And they're taken aback. And then it's the way I greet them. And then they're taken aback. So how are you presenting yourself for your audience? So think about that and make a decision. I would say be yourself. I would say don't try to be something you're not. You're going to be more comfortable if you present yourself as yourself, and connect with people more in that way. So the tools is about how you present yourself. Body language is really important. So you would have seen throughout this presentation that I've moved my hands, I've moved my body. If I'm excited, I might be pumping my fists. When I've done Phoenix moment, I actually reached out my arms. When you're doing a face-to-face presentation, or not even a face-to-face, you're not doing PowerPoint, you're going straight to screen. You can really use the screen and use your body. You can lean back, you lean forward. So think about and practice your body language. Think about how you're moving, because people are watching you and they want to be engaged. So that step forward, it's all part of it. So your body language is really important. The other step from that is obviously your tone. I hope you found that I haven't been monotone. I hope you found that my volume's changed, my pitch has changed. I've sped up, I've slowed down. I hope you found that, because that's going to make it more engaging and more interesting. You lower when you want to say something really important that you really want people to listen to. And you speed up when you want people excited, you want people engaged, you want people's blood boiling, then you speed up and you get louder. So think about your tone and how you're presenting in your voice. The other thing to think about is repetition. I've used repetition several times through this presentation. And that's about, it's an important point. I want you to remember it. It's an important point and I want you to remember it. So I will repeat it. And I may even ask you to take a note, make a note of that. Yeah, so repetition is really important, and to keep people listening, keep people engaged, and to emphasize this is an important point that I'm making. The other thing to include is humor. So don't take yourself too seriously. Make sure you're smiling. Make fun of yourself. Make fun of, gently make fun of the audience. Oh, so and so has just joined us, or good to see you. Just something light observation. Light observation. You don't have to be a stand-up comedian, but if you're not making individuals laugh throughout the presentation, or at least smile throughout the presentation, then think about how you can do that. Think about a funny story that you can tell. Think about in your testimony something that was amusing to you, and just share it. Yeah, the fact that someone came in and they looked me up and down and left straight away, and then when they came back, you eventually won them over. Just something, just a story that's really funny. Another thing that I'm going to add there is storytelling. If you're doing a presentation, storytelling is a key tool. You want to give a story. It may be part of your testimony, but even outside of that, just tell stories. It might be a parable. It might be about, for example, an old chief that's talking to his grandson, and he's telling his grandson about these two wolves in a person's head. And a negative wolf that's saying you can't do it, you're rubbish, you're stupid, you're useless. And a positive wolf that's saying you're powerful, you're wonderful, you're the best, you're the greatest. And then he stops speaking. And the grandson asks him, so which wolf won, granddad? Which wolf won? And the granddad said, the old chief said, whichever wolf you feed, whichever wolf you feed. Knowing that the negative wolf cannot win if the positive wolf is overpowering it. And you feed the positive wolf with affirmations, with personal development, with reading certain information. So just to give that information, I told a story to engage you, to help you to picture a scene using imagery, characters. Yeah, so use storytelling as part of your presentation. And that's pretty much it. Those are pretty much the tools and the steps. I'll do a quick recap. We're looking at whether you want to do, number one, whether you want to do a PowerPoint or whether you just want to be straight to screen. Number two, we're looking at making sure you're in the right state. So making sure you're in peak state, but also making sure your audience is in peak state. Number three is being able to qualify yourself. So what is your qualifications? Why are you able to deliver this information? What qualifies you to deliver this information? Alongside that is edification, being able to verify and big up and you know, make the audience be excited about the next person that's going to speak. Testimony, powerful tool with the steps of your baseline, with the steps of your incident, with your Phoenix moment, and then with your call to action if you're closing on testimony, but the call to action can come at the end of the presentation. Next, we have making sure that your presentation has a beginning, middle, and end. And then the tools, which I just ran through, which is about how you present yourself, your tone, your volume, repetition, humor, body language, storytelling. So that's it from me. My call to action for you is I want you to book a one-to-one with me and my team. If you want to learn how to do this in greater detail, if you want hand-holding, you know, someone to practice with, someone to build the PowerPoint, someone to build the story, someone to watch you and say, you're not doing this enough, you're not doing that enough, I will coach you through how to deliver a great presentation. I've also got a great team that will help you to market, use your avatar, your Facebook ads, to actually make sure that your webinar has got people turning up, the right people turning up, so that you can do a powerful presentation and you can sell your product, your service, or share your story. So if you're interested in going through the Art of Presentation workshop with me and my team, then book a one-to-one consultation, because I want to make sure, and you want to make sure, that you're the right fit and that we can fulfill your objectives, fulfill what it is that you want to achieve. Yeah, so I'll write the link so that you can see it in terms of the link of who you need. So what you need to do to book in via Calendly, your one-to-one appointment. I look forward to speaking with you in person. It's been a great pleasure serving you. I have a saying at the end, which is, let's get it, let's go. So I'm going to close on that. Let's get it, let's go. Pleasure.